Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Chris and this is the Mile High Wonder Gaming. So glad you stopped by. So today I wanted to share with you my experience so far in reaching World Tier 4 in Season of Blood. It's kind of what I expected, but kind of not what I expected. So if you want to stay up to date on Diablo 4 and all things Xbox and PC gaming, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to know when I have new content up. I love to have you part of the community. With that being said, let's jump into the video. If you were to ask me one word to describe World Tier 4, I would say intense. I immediately got the Torment 16 vibes from D3 with how many monsters and the strength of them, plus the reduction in resistance. Having to build up again is an interesting prospect. There are subtle differences between World Tier 3 and 4, so in my opinion World Tier 3 isn't meant to be hung around in. It's really the training grounds for what's to come once you step into the Torment difficulty. I wasn't recording when I completed the Capstone dungeon because it was a casual gaming session before work. I did die a few times because it was given to me as a priority quest at level 68. Since I know that the gear and your main stat is what really drives your attack power, I thought I was good to do it, but it took a few tries. Also in my World Tier 3 video, I thought about how often Helltide was coming around. In World Tier 4, it's a lot more frequent because you really have to farm it for the ladder of bosses. Living Still is also used for Duriel, so you need to acquire a lot of it. I did the Echo of Arshan again because he is where I'm getting word that the Malignant rings are dropping. I got an Ancestral Unique from him which helps my build in the early stages of gearing up for level 100. And finally, one of my favorite parts of Diablo 3 is now a thing in Diablo 4. The item hunt is underway. The specific pieces that make your build go. Some can be acquired gambling obols, but the bosses and nightmare dungeons are really going to be the place to be. I love the item hunt because that becomes the focus. The fact that a plan can be made and executed concerning playtime in the world instead of wandering around aimlessly. Even though you can do that, having a goal with smaller goals along the way is really the way to flesh out the endgame of Diablo 4. I have gotten an aspect for the Channel Sorcerer build while in World Tier 4 and it was a pretty good roll. It helped with damage for the Sorcerer, so that's another thing that I'm happy that Blizzard put in. The ability to have a workhorse to pave the way for the rest of the characters and bring the resource and goal sharing from D3 is a winner in my book as well. All of my lower level characters in the season contribute to Veil Crystals, which is important in crafting the game. One of my favorite things to do in the endgame is Helltide, just monster slaying for the sake of monster slaying. This is where the grind for Living Still happens, and this is the only place it can be acquired. So in World Tier 4, you will be spending a lot of time here. It's busy and always something coming at you. Breathers are rare, and it seems like an unhealthy aggression from the monsters, which makes it that more fun. Check out my last video for the requirements to opening the Living Still chests. Also, to me, it seemed that Helltide was always active and moving region to region like the Blood Harvest. I haven't gone to the Fields of Hatred yet to see what that's like in the upper tier, and I know I call Seas of Hatred blood shards, but I will be doing that soon and seeing what can be purchased with them. Once I have a little more confidence in my build, I will test it out against other players in the Fields of Hatred to experience that as well. Speaking of Blood Harvest, that area seems to be even more populated with monsters than any tier, being that you can take part in the season event in any tier. And again, an unhealthy aggression. That's what Diablo is all about though. I have a blast every time I go and complete the Whispers. I have leveled up a lot of the vampiric powers and they do pack a big punch. A Curse Touch is my favorite and go-to because it's a big explosion, and if you save the 8 stacks, then 8 spirits come out and rush the enemies and explodes. It's saved my life many times. The build I'm using for the rogue for endgame is the Death Trap rogue. It runs Twisting Blades and the Poison Trap and Poison Imbuement. Poison is very strong, but I think Shadow is top tier. And I also know that I keep referring to the rogue as Demon Hunter, and that's because the playstyles are pretty much identical. If they bring back Spin to Win, I'll be super happy. Gears of Dreadlines in Diablo 3 was pretty much my favorite DH set. Some final mapping items I had to complete I also finished in World Tier 4. I had 2 strongholds left to do and they were a lot of fun. The Temple of Rot was really good. Kind of gross looking, but this stronghold is a prerequisite to a Legion event that takes place. The other one I would like to speak on a little more because where it takes place is one of the minor key campaign moments in Diablo 3. Alcarnus is the location of the witch's lair, the witch being Magda. In Diablo 3, it's where she tried to get hold to Tyrael's sword and us as the player had to stop her. Plus, she was key in giving up the lesser evil Belial, Lord of Lies, plan in Chaldeum. So the stronghold, you see the aftermath of that battle and all the death that was left there. You come face to face with the powerful necromancer. You must defeat her and rekindle the Wanderer's shrine to open up Alcarnus. And of course, I had to do a nightmare dungeon or two. I absolutely love it. It's like the Greater Rifts in D3 but overcharged. The affixes that are placed on the dungeons are brilliant and adds another element to be wary of while inside. Now, being that I was given the capstone before level 70, I was definitely unaware that the level of monsters would start at 75. So of course I was a little taken aback. 5 levels is not a small divide, especially when the items that drop are ancestral instead of sacred. So I had to put my thinking cap on and figure out how I can tweak my build a little bit so that I have some survivability. I did go to the Blood Harvest and opened a few many of the chests you need the Seeker's Key for gear. It helped some, but I was still fresh meat, as the butcher would say. So start off with the level 21 dungeon. The monsters inside all level 75, and there were a lot more elite monsters as well as boss monsters. I got a rhythm down and was able to slay, but I did die twice. I am getting gear that is scaling well right now, and I think in a few more levels and some good item finds with great rolls, I'll be ready to push those dungeons. All in all, for me, this is the Diablo that I was waiting for. Now that it's known that all the mechanics are in World Tier 4, you want to get there as fast as possible. But if you're new to the franchise, I recommend that you stop and smell the roses on the way. There are no roses in Torment. I can't wait for the Firewall Sorcerer to get there so it can be seen in progress. Here's the process to getting to this point, and I'm having a great time sharing it with you, how to get there from a casual gamer's perspective. So that's my thoughts so far on World Tier 4, and of course, I will keep you posted on the progress of my Death Trap rogue. Have you made it to World Tier 4 yet? And if so, how are you liking the grind of it? Let me know down in the comments and let's have a discussion about it. If you made it this far, a like would be greatly appreciated. But with that being said, there is no more. As I say, love is life and life is laughter. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.